What I'm about to reveal was never meant to go public. Wall Street's hiding these 6 major trends because they'll create a new wave of everyday multi-millionaires. Trend number 1, massive AI breakthroughs. But it's not what most people think. DeepMind CEO said we're gonna have human-like AI within 5 to 10 years, but Cisco's top guy thinks it's coming even sooner, by late 2025. Yeah, like this year. Why does this matter to you? Because companies like Nvidia and AMD, they make the chips that power all this AI. It's like selling the tools during a gold rush. And we've seen this before. You know, when the internet was new in the 1990s, early investors in companies like Cisco and Intel, they got rich before most people even knew what the internet was. Now you might be wondering how I know all this and everything else that I'm about to unload on you. Well, last month I had dinner with a billionaire friend. For privacy reasons, I'm gonna call him Mike. He's built his fortune quietly over decades and prefers to stay out of the spotlight, but he gave me the green light to share what we talked about with you. See, most people are looking at the wrong thing, he told me. They're focused on the chatbots and the flashy AI apps, but the real money is in the infrastructure that makes it all work. Don't bet on AI companies, he said. Bet on what powers them. You know, when the internet was new in the 1990s, the people who got rich weren't the ones building websites. They were the ones building the backbone of the internet itself. So you're saying dump AI stocks? That's what I asked. And he said, most of them, yeah. The smart money is focused on the picks and shovels, the chips, the power sources, the infrastructure. Did you know there are already over 100 quantum computers working right now? Most people have no idea. And let me explain what quantum computers actually are. You see, regular computers use bits, just ones and zeros, to process information. Quantum computers use something called qubits that can be in multiple states at once. It's like having a coin that can be heads, tails, and every position in between all at the same time. This means they can solve certain problems thousands of times faster than regular computers. And here's why this matters for investors. Quantum computers could break all the encryption that protects banks and crypto and the entire financial system. The companies building these machines or creating new security to protect against them are sitting on gold mines. This is the hidden gem of the decade. The companies like IonQ and Rigetti building quantum tech could see huge growth. The companies building hack-proof security will be essential. The timeline isn't certain, and many of these companies will run out of money before getting any results. That's why Mike is only putting about 5% of his money here. Another massive opportunity in AI, its huge use of power. Already 4% of the world's electricity. By 2030, it will use 3 times more. The companies building the power sources for all this AI, like Cameco and NuScale, developing next-gen nuclear power, are positioned for massive growth. Wall Street doesn't want regular people in on these deals. 3 major investment firms have started accumulating these stocks quietly. They make money from high energy costs while telling the public to go green. You know, over dinner, Mike shared 5 more trends that will reshape our economy over the next decade. He explained that these 6 trends, they work together and make each other stronger. So when you see how they connect, you can get ahead of everyone else. And speaking of connections, wait until you hear trend number 5. It explains why so many people feel like they're working harder but falling behind. But first, let's talk about the sure thing of demographics. This is trend number 2, the demographic tsunami. And this isn't a guess. It's math. By 2030, America will have 71 million people over the age of 65. That's more than the entire country of France. Each one spends about $16,000 per year just on healthcare. Japan has gone through this already over the last 20 years. Their aging population, it changed their whole economy and created new industries. America's economy is much bigger, so the money-making opportunities are much bigger too. Nobody wants to talk about senior housing stocks because they're boring, but they're paying 4 to 7% dividends while tech stocks are crashing. Companies like Welltower and Ventas own buildings where seniors will live, and these buildings are already 85% full. When we look at other big population shifts in history, like the baby boom after World War II, people who saw it coming early built businesses that did well for decades. That same chance exists right now. And it's not just about housing. Look at Age X Therapeutics making stem cell treatments. Even Campbell dropped soup from their name to focus on easy meals for older folks. These aren't exciting stocks, But they're making steady money for people who see this trend coming. Quick question for you. Have you noticed more retirement communities being built in your area? Hit like if you've seen this trend in your own neighborhood and comment below with what you've actually seen. Trend number 3, global trade realignment. This big trend is changing global supply chains in ways we haven't seen since after World War II. Factories are coming back to America in a big way. We're talking 800,000 new jobs every year. President Trump just announced significant manufacturing job gains coming from Apple, TSMC Semiconductor, and Stellantis. And big gains just last month of 9,000 auto manufacturing jobs and 151,000 total jobs created across sectors, highlighting several major investments and developments during his second term. This reshoring trend, it connects directly to our first trend about technology. You see, as robots and AI get better, cheap labor overseas, it doesn't matter as much. Countries with the best tech now have the edge. I mean, look at this chart. See this spike? That's US factory output up 3.8% in just 1 year. But most people miss what this really means. You see, throughout history, the countries that make things end up with the most wealth. Britain during the Industrial Revolution, America after World War II, China in the early 2000s. The pattern is clear. The nations that build things get rich. Banks make money from complex global supply chains. When companies move back to America, it hurts banks' fees. That's why you don't hear about this on TV. Here's what really blew my mind. While everyone worries about foreign factories, companies like MP Materials are making magnets right here in America. And why does that matter? Well, you can't build electric cars or missiles without these magnets. I mean, have you noticed more Made in America labels lately? Drop a comment below with products that you've seen that used to be made overseas but are now made here. I'm curious as to what you're seeing in your area. In the defense industry, it's booming. Companies like Lockheed Martin are making AI-powered drones. You can invest in all of these through simple funds like SPDR Aerospace and Defense. This return to America trend is moving money from offshore tax havens straight to Main Street factories. Trend number 4, healthcare revolution. Now this might sound like sci-fi, but it's real. Companies are making 3D printers that can create human organs. By 2030, this will be a $6.8 billion market. This healthcare revolution has been building slowly. It's like a hockey stick. Slow progress for years, then sudden fast growth. And we're right at the turning point now. Think about what this means. United Therapeutics is already printing lung frames, but drug companies don't want you to know about this. Why? Because what happens to their profits if you only need one treatment instead of drugs for life? And I had to ask about the risks. What if the FDA takes too long to approve these things? Or what if the tech doesn't work as well as we hope? The approval process could slow things down, and some companies will fail. That's why it's smart to not put all of your money into one stock. Buy several biotech companies and don't invest too much in any one company, because the winners will more than make up for the losers. We've seen this pattern before in other industries. Tech completely rewrites the business model. Think about how Netflix changed TV or how smartphones changed how we communicate. Healthcare is next, and it's a much bigger market. But it gets even better. Have you heard of CRISPR? Vertex just used it to cure sickle cell anemia. Not treat it, cure it. CRISPR Therapeutics stock could go up 45% as more gene treatments get approved. This isn't just about fixing diseases. Companies like Libella Gene Therapeutics are working on making people younger. The healthcare industry is about to flip upside down, and you can invest in these biotech companies right now. You don't need to be rich or connected. You can buy CRISPR Therapeutics stock on any trading app today. Trend number 5, middle class transformation. This one makes us look at long-term social changes clearly. The middle class is changing in big ways, and this isn't temporary. It's a structural change decades in the making. The data tells a very clear story. 68% of households now shop at discount stores. That's why Ross and Burlington are growing 30% each year. But Wall Street won't talk about these stocks. Why? Because discount stores don't spend money on fancy ads. Meanwhile, luxury brands pay huge fees to Wall Street for promotion. But the surprising reality is, while everyone watches high-end stores, budget retailers are making a killing. Think about how you shop. Do you still pay full price at department stores? Or do you shop at TJ Maxx and Marshalls? This shift, it's happening everywhere. It's creating huge opportunities for investors who see where people are actually spending money. Have you found yourself shopping more at discount stores in the last few years? I know I have. Hit like if you've noticed this shift in your own spending habits. We're all a part of these trends, whether we realize it or not. And it's not just retail. This squeeze on the middle class is changing everything from where people live to how they save for retirement. And that brings us to our final trend, trend number 6, housing evolution. The American dream isn't dying, it's changing. When we look at how people lived in different eras, each time brings new ways of living. What we're seeing now is the next big change in how Americans live. By 2026, 43% of millennials will never own a regular home. But here's what isn't getting as much attention as it should. Build-to-rent neighborhoods are growing 30% each year. Companies like Invitation Homes and American Homes for Rent are building entire communities just for renters. In places like Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Atlanta, these rental communities are popping up everywhere. They have all the benefits of owning a home without the huge down payment or 30-year mortgage. And here's where it all comes full circle. Remember that first trend about technology? Smart home tech and AI property management are changing the rental experience. The same AI revolution happening in computing is now happening in housing. The companies that combine real estate with technology will lead this new market. If you're a homeowner, a renter, or an investor, I'd love to know, what housing trends are you seeing where you live? Comment below with what's happening in your area. I've been saying this for a while. When it comes to single-family homes, the tide is rising, and a rising tide lifts all boats. So, if you have found anything that I said in this video confusing, a very simple approach to just getting wealthy is by just putting your own boats in the water so you can rise with the inevitable rising tide. If you'd like some help with that, let me know. I put a link below with details of how that could work. As my dinner with Mike the billionaire was wrapping up, he shared one last insight. He said, these 6 economic trends aren't random. They form an interconnected web that's reshaping our economy for the next decade. Throughout history, the people who recognized these patterns early positioned themselves for extraordinary success. Mike has spent decades building his billions by staying ahead of economic trends. And he's not a flashy guy. You're not going to find him on social media or TV. He flies very much under the radar. Most people wait until trends are obvious before acting. That's what he said. And by then, the biggest gains, they're already gone. That's exactly why I'm hosting a get-together here in Las Vegas this month. This isn't about quick wins though. It's about positioning yourself for the decade ahead. So for 2 days, I want to be sharing a framework for navigating the housing trends. I'm talking about your flight to Vegas covered, your hotel on me, and access to $150,000 in funding at very favorable terms, like 0% interest. Your complete LLC setup will get that done for you, and the long-term investment playbook, that's included, and 3 months of ongoing strategic support. Now, it's not for everyone. We're only accepting 10 people who are serious about building wealth over the next decade. So you need a 680 credit score to be considered, because I want to work with people who take a long-term approach to wealth creation. These 6 major trends are already reshaping our economy. The smart money recognizes these patterns and is positioning accordingly. Now you understand them too. The question is, how will you prepare for the decade ahead? Let me know below. Hit like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.